Hi, Claus here with one piece of advice that can at least double your learning speed when it comes to learning the order of things, like scale shapes, like the 5 pentatonic shapes, learning how to go from one to the other, or just learning the chords of a song in the fastest way possible. So, and the reason why I have this little secret for you is because we all make one big mistake, and that is that we look at practicing as one thing. So what does that really mean to practice? Well, first of all, I can practice neuromotor activities like playing 6 notes on 2 strings or playing a lick. And when we do that, it's a really good idea to just loop the stuff, right? And play it over and over and over again. And there's one rule there when it comes to learning licks or sequences or whatever that is that you're trying to learn, is that you just repeat it incessantly, right? And at some point you become so good at it that you can just do it without even thinking about it, right? Right? And you just, from then on, you just keep on going until it's completely automatic. But if you try to learn scale shapes or learn songs in the same way, it will be incredibly slow compared to what it could really be when you shift your focus. Because when you're trying to learn the order of something, like scale shapes on the neck or like chords of a song, what we have to do is we have to focus on the order. We have to actually focus and say, that's what practicing means when we're trying to learn this stuff, right? It's not just repeating it, because we can... Right, next shape. Right? And then we move on and on like that, just playing back and forth and up and down, and nothing happens. Because the focus of your brain is the same as if you were trying to learn a sequence, right? It's the same as... is if you're going up, because you're just going up and down. The brain just says, okay, we're practicing. Practice, 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 but we're not learning anything. I rediscovered this principle when I was playing a video game that I've been playing for years on my iPhone. And it's, 12 levels of just shoot 'em up, just gonna bring the game up on the screen here. It's just you go through the same levels and the exact same things happen in the exact same order. But because I'm too stupid to remember what is actually going on, I can keep being surprised. The replay value is enormous when you don't know what's going on, right? You can't remember. So it never becomes boring. And it's just hit me that I've been playing this game for like 10 years, right? And I still can't remember what is going on, what happens, So it dawned on me that the only reason why I can't remember what is going on, the order of things that happens in the game, is because I don't focus on it, right? When I'm playing the game, I'm not focusing on it. Let me remember what goes on, what happens next. And because I'm not focused on it, the brain is just shut down in the area of trying to remember what goes on, right? The order of it. It doesn't do anything. It's not practicing. It's just playing. Just like when we're playing guitar, we think we practice scale shapes. So I made a little experiment where I said, okay, let me focus on learning what comes after what, right? Let me say, okay, I'm gonna play because I'm super good at it, right? So I'm not using very much of my brain capacity to play the game, so I could just focus on, okay, we start here. Then first that wave comes, these planes, and then that happens. No. Okay, and then this happens. So I started focusing on the order of it. And the next thing that happened was, of course, that I didn't move on to level 2 once I was done with level 1, because now it was a different discipline. I wasn't just playing the game, I was trying to remember what happened, right? The order of it. And so my urge then went to, okay, let me do it again. Let me play level 1 again. And then I, see if I can remember what happens. And after playing it like 3-4 times, the same level, I could remember everything that happened. Just by changing my focus. And when my focus changed, my behavior changed as well, which meant that instead of just having fun playing through the levels or playing through the scale shapes, I stayed with level 1 because now I had another goal, another aim in mind, and that was to learn the order of it. So instead of just practicing, I was actually looking at what went on. And then I was going, okay, what comes after this? Okay, let me stay here. Okay, this is what happens. Get it, brain, right? Once I'm in the first position, minus shape, I move up. Then what goes on when I move down? Vertically. Oh yeah, that's it. And then And you can just sort of look at 2 scale shapes like that and go back and forth. And then with that focus, really be intensely focused on, oh yeah, so that's what's going on. So you do the same thing here. And then and that's hugely more, resource demanding of your brain than just playing up and down. So it's a matter of focus. And once you do that, then pretty rapidly you'll find that you'll change your behavior in not going from scale shape to scale shape back and forth. You really aim at one thing, which is remembering what goes on, and therefore you stay in one place for long enough to actually have that aim come true, right? To actually have your result, instead of your result just being practicing. So to achieve a level of intelligence in what you do, you need to really say, okay, what does practicing really mean? Instead of just saying, oh, that means just playing stuff a lot, right? What does it mean? What is going on in the brain? How do you mean when you practice? What are you practicing? Are you practicing something rhetorically? Are you practicing something where you have to remember something? Like a song, for instance? What would you do if I told you that I would give you $1 million in your favorite currency if you could learn an 8-chord song, pretty complex chords, but I need you to remember it, right? And I'm gonna set the clock, and I need you to remember it in 10 minutes. So play these 8 chords, and then, a day passes by, and I want you to play them, right? What would you do? Your brain would be intensely focused on, okay, so C major 7th, A minor 7th, and you would go, your brain would light up like a computer, over where the CPU is getting too hot, right? You would use a ton of resources to remember that, because now you're focused on it, and that's the only thing you're focused on. You're not strumming away and practicing, right? You're not, right? You're just focused on remembering the chords, right? Because you're so motivated and you're so focused, and that's what we need to be. That is the trick. That is the secret, you might say, to how to learn these things super rapidly. So the next time you're trying to learn a song, forget about playing around with it and just playing it 1,000 times. See, how fast can I learn what the chords are? So how fast can I get them in there? And your behavior would then be a reflection of your focus. So you would take, for instance, the first 2 chords and say, okay, or the first 4 chords, and then loop them. Then look away, then see if you can remember them again, right? And if it was really important, you would write them down as well. So you write them down 1,000 times, right? Sing them to yourself. C major, C major, right? Everything in your power, because that's what you're focused on. And that's where magic happens. That's where you're learning super rapidly. So please see if you can adapt this. Put Post-it notes up on your wall. Make sure you don't forget this, because the brain has a tendency to just go into its old habits again. So if you're trying to learn scales, if you're trying to learn songs, make sure you can't forget to use this principle. Save this video and don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon. And then I hope to see you in the next one.